Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming and more Shadow of the Erdtree. Today I've got my top picks for the Dex Weapon category. Today we have some ridiculously good showings. This whole stat has had such good options introduced in the DLC that I'm going to reference more than 5 in this video. As usual though, I want to give a disclaimer. This is not a definitive list. It's our first impressions in our early testing. No one should have that right now because we haven't had enough time with the game. But I am gaining more and more confidence the more time we have to test and consider and discuss. So with that said, let's begin. Let's start with a quick reference and shout out to a couple weapons. Firstly, we have the Messmer spear, the spear of the impaler. But the thing is, it also scales really well in Faith, and actually you get a lot of value out of leveling Faith alongside Dex. So I'm probably going to be mentioning that, talking about that in the Faith video rather than this one. I just want you guys to know that I do rate that weapon pretty well, and it deserves a mention. I also want to reference the hand-to-hand stuff, specifically Dane's footwork. When you put this one in Keen, it gets a B scaling. But the truth is, it's better played in Blood and leaning into Bleed, where it becomes more of a quality weapon with C scaling in strength and Dex. Hard to really call this one truly Dex, but I do really like it. You can see how effective and potent it can be. So with those two referenced and acknowledged, let's start the list properly at number 5, where we have Milady. Yeah, it's actually genuinely this good. When you take a look at the stats, you can see that it's pretty decent in scaling and raw damage values, but it's not like it has Bleed or anything overly impressive about it statistically. When we take a look at the moveset, you can see how a weapon like this, like greatsword, is meant to be used more in combination. While the light attack combos are nice range and thrusting style, they're best used in combination. So, doing a couple light attacks and then interrupting that combo with a heavy or vice versa. This actually works really well. And you can get a lot of good hits and successive hits off by doing that. But where this is really relevant and why it makes the list is the Ash of War. Wing stance, which was kind of meant to be used with Milady, which puts the sword out to the side, and then you can do either a light attack or a heavy attack. The light attack performs a pretty quick, effective, successive hit combo. It is fine, it's solid, but it's not standout. What is standout is the heavy attack, which is a big leap and then thrust. This does incredible damage. It does pierce damage, which is the best type because it goes through the defense's best. There is incredible stagger buildup on this heavy attack. It's a leap, so it's a gap closer, which allows you to quickly punish many windows of opportunity in a boss fight that is not available to other weapons. Also, that leap thrust is quick and effective, so you can do it up close even so. The thing is, there are some cool combinations you can do with this as well. Like you can do the light attack version of Wing Stance to get out a bunch of hits quickly, and then kind of interrupt it to instantly follow up with the heavy leap. As long as you're holding the Ash keybind the whole time, you can do both. They actually chain into one another. So again, successive hits and the build up from that, very effective. The longer you're holding your Ash of War, the more you get from a talisman tied to that, and you kind of juice up the leap hit for some serious hits that you're seeing here. The control you can get is great, and even if you can't do anything with your basic combos or heavy or even the light stance attack, if you're just using Wing Stance with the heavy leap thrust as the safest punish, one of the safest in the game, it's still really effective. So I rate this very high, and that's why it's on the list. But above that at 4, we have the Rakasha's Great Katana. Lower on the list than you might have imagined, just because obviously it requires trading to really work. In short, it's a great katana with decent dex scaling, but obviously has the bleed potential behind it. As a great katana, it's got great range, good damage, good stagger potential. But where this really matters is the Weed Cutter Ash of War, which allows you to swing horizontally twice. It does not cost much FP at all, it costs more stamina than anything. It combos into itself though, that's the whole point of it. You're meant to spam the Weed Cutter essentially infinitely, as much as you can. By setting this up with good poise, trading, lifesteal, whatever, and maximizing the output so you're getting the successive hit buildup, the bleed buildup, and the procs from that enhancing your AR, you can go toe-to-toe with bosses really effectively. If you can only get 2 or 4 hits in a row, that's fine as a quicker punish. But if you can trade with this, the DPS does get significantly higher, and that starts to get really impressive. The issue is that doesn't work against every boss where the damage gets pretty dangerous and scary, but it works with most of them. I consider this one of the most effective out of the box, easiest to play dex weapons you could choose, and that's why I refer to it as the new Bloodhound's Fang for new players that want something easy to use that just looks cool. So it's definitely a good choice. Above that, we have the Horn Sense NPC weapon, the Falx, which is a curved sword. But as one item, it provides you both curved swords. So by simply equipping this, you get the incredible duo curved power stance moveset. That's fast and effective. You have some of the best running attacks in the game. The jump attack spam is insane. And also, because of the way this works, it's extremely lightweight. It costs 4 to actually use this, and you get 2 of them. So normally you'd be spending double the weight or more for this kind of setup. Super lightweight because of that. Scaling wise, you got B dex and then the base bleed buildup, but you cannot buff it, which is a limiter. What carries the weapon though up to the higher leagues is the Ash of War Revenger's Blade. This massive combo starts with kind of a dash double swing forward. That is fine actually as a quick punish. It hits hard, but when you follow it with a heavy attack, you do the real combo, which is this unbelievable amount of fast swings at point blank. So you lead into insane successive hit buildup and obviously as well bleed. So a standard build would work in the white mask and the talismans for that, the successive buildup from wondrous physic and talismans, and then you just kind of go to town on targets. Anytime you can punish them with the double swipe is effective, or you could do a jump attack and work in your build for that. But what you're looking for is any chance to do the full combo of the Ash of War, to absolutely spam the target with strikes, building unbelievable successive hits and bleed buildup as well. Massive burst basically that overwhelms everything I've used it against. Technically, you do need a longer window to pull this off, but it's not overly long to the point where it's a problem like various Ashes of War from the new weapons in the DLC. So I rate this very high, and they're also just very fun, so give them a try. Above that, at 2, we have the Claws of Night, which are a new throwing weapon type that we can get. It's got a cool passive effect where it's kind of corporeal, so it goes through guards pretty well. You're able to absolutely spam out, your fist-style claw attacks to berate a target down. Between its decent dex scaling and the base bleed buildup, that's fine. This makes a good weapon. It's also got a Smith script style thing where if you use a heavy attack, you get to throw 3 of the claws at once. You can charge that up and do it in combo. That's great utility. All of that's again fine, but the reason it's so high on this list is the Ash of War, which is essentially a shotgun blast of the claws in throw. The closer you are to a target when you do this, the more will hit, and that leads to, more successive hits, yes, more bleed, the standard best stuff for dex. If you're able to get 2, 3 of these shotgun blasts at close range off in a row, the damage is honestly comical. Chances are though you won't be able to do that because there's absolutely no poise protection on this. You are very exposed to try to do that. Doing a quick light attack combo and then say 1 shotgun blast is very effective and also pretty quick. It could be a reasonable alternative, but you want to close the range to make this more effective. Optimized and used well, the DPS here is hard to contest, but you got to hold yourself back from blindly spamming it because again, you'll be interrupted, you'll be left exposed. You don't want to do that. Whenever you can punish with 2 or 3 of the ashes back to back though, you're going to claim huge chunks of health. So it is a very good boss killer indeed. But at the top, at number 1, we have backhand blades, because when fully upgraded, they are S-scaling in keen. The backhand blades have a different moveset to, say, 2 curved swords, which they are similar to. The moveset is not too dissimilar, actually, but I don't think it's as good as 2 curved swords. Still, it's quick and effective with decent range, looks really cool, feels really good. I do really like the base gameplay of these, but what's stand out here is, yes, the dex scaling is S, and then you can buff it with Bloodflame Blade so that you can get some real bleed buildup despite that incredible scaling on dex. These 2 things, that alone is good enough to put it very high, but then you have the unique backhand blade Ashes of War. So obviously here I'm using Blind Spot, and this is just the default Ash of War. You literally dodge to the side and that provides iframes. Then you do a punishing thrust. This is indeed a pierce attack, so that's the best damage type you could ask for. And then there's counter attack potential if it's done during their attack animation, which if you don't know, slightly enhances the damage you deal. So you've got pierce damage and counter attack potential and iframes on one of the best damage abilities you can ask for. This is also one of the best Ashes of War in the game. So the output here is nuts. The control and ease of use is incredible. The style and feel of it is top tier. The scaling is up there and the bleed potential is up there. Easy builds with bleed and successive hits as usual will do wonders here, as you can see. But there is a disclaimer I should give to it, is that it's relying on the new Ashes to be as busted as it is. If you were to compare this to like the normal bandit duo curved sword setup with Bloodflame Blade, or working in scavenger swords instead, and then doing jump attack spam, the DPS potential there is simply higher. But this is easier and safer to play, and it's new and effective, and that's why it's on this list. This is a new weapons list after all. Also, I have to reference the other great backhand blade Ash of War, Swift Slash. This footage is from an OG creator called Ouroboros I've been watching for like a decade, using it in PvP to, destroy them, no contest. It's argued as the most broken PvP Ash of War in the game, Swift Slash. So check out that full video by Ouroboros called The Most Broken Ash of War in Elden Ring. So yeah, backhand blades, pretty damn good, and my top pick for the new Dex weapon in the DLC right now. But there you have it. That's my first week look at the Dex weapons. Obviously, there's more we can test and discuss and look at. If you've tried anything else with good results, let us know. We'd be happy to look into it. But otherwise, I hope this gives you some great context and some good showings to maybe try yourself. If you enjoyed the video, do drop a like. But for now, I've been Hollow, you've been you. Thank you for watching.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.